Hello and welcome to Sacred Foundations. Happy New Year 2023. You and me, Jill 2023. How are you?
Oh, I like that. I am pretty awesome. How about you?
I am awesome too. It's always awesome. Jill and I get an opportunity to chat before we hit record and dive into these readings. And I just have to say that she is incredible, lifts my spirit, and lets my soul soar. We were just talking about being tethered. And after conversations with Jill, I feel like I'm no longer tethered. I am soaring above. I'm excited for this reading. I'm excited to hear what's coming through for you as well. I'm excited to share what's coming through for me. So I'm going to turn it over and you give our monthly little sharing for everyone. And then I'll go ahead and share my reading first and then you. How's that sound?
That sounds great. So first, I just have to tell you, your background is stunning, and your beautiful essence in front of that stunning background always fills my heart with joy. So, okay. If you are new to Sacred Foundations readings, we just want to let you know that we usually use a 5-card spread almost always. It's called the Cross of Truth. I didn't create this spread, but it is one of my favorites because, you know, it gives the big picture, but it also gives helpful energy and obstacle energy. So, you know, some people be called to focus on the helpful energy card in the information in that card, and other people are going to be called to focus on the obstacle energies, because there are more than two, but there's like 2 different groups of people, and some people are like, show me the energy to move forward and what's going to help me, and that's what helps them thrive and move forward. And other people are like, you know what, show me the obstacle energy, and then I know what I need to overcome. And there's no right or wrong. I want to make, you know, sure that you are aware of that. If you're the type of person that is like, show me the obstacle so I can move over it, and other people tell you you're wrong for placing your energy there, I would humbly disagree with that, because that's how you roll. And then there are people that are like, show me the helpful energies so I can amplify them and put my focus there. And that's totally fine too. So honor yourself in the way that you process and move forward in this world. And really, Julia and I want people to take this information, take what resonates with them, leave the rest behind, bring in your own intuitive insight when you see the images of the cards, when you see the titles of the cards, when you hear what we have to share. If it resonates with you, take it, use it, build on it for your building your sacred foundation or deepening your sacred foundation. So that's really important. I want you to honor yourself. Julia and I don't know what you need. You do. You are your own sovereign being of light. So tune into your own inner wisdom. Yes, hear what we have to say, feel into it. If it resonates with you, take it, build on it, use it if it serves you. If it doesn't, let it go. So that is a huge thing that Julie and I both do in our work with our individual clients. And then when we work with people together, this is always the underlying essence of it. So you are a sovereign being of light. You have your own inner wisdom to tap into, to guide you and direct you. So we use the Cross of Truth spread, and then we use 2 oracle cards that Julia and I both collaborated in with many different artists from around the world. The first deck is the Awakening to Your Divine Self oracle card deck. That was the first one. And the second one is the Priestesses of the New Earth oracle cards deck. So we use these cards, we take the insight and the energies from these cards and we bring them forward. Each individual artist created an image and then brought through their sacred medicine message, which are amazing. Sometimes we'll read the message direct from the artist. Oftentimes we'll just go off of what intuitive energies that we're feeling. In the description below, we post the artist of that card so you can see it and then explore them further if you feel called to do that. All right, am I forgetting anything?
No, it's beautiful. Well said.
All right, so I'm excited because I can feel a lot of energy already from these cards, and I always love to hear your wisdom, Julia, so turning it to you.
Thank you. And while I start, do you want to pull up the images? Can you do that?
Oh, I can.
And I'm going to hold up the first card in this beautiful. So I'll just invite you that if you haven't like settled in to this time, space, this now moment, wherever your now moment is, and these readings will reach you if you at any time, whenever you come to this is the now moment. This reading is the now moment for you. And so yeah, so take a moment and just really settle into your body, this beautiful earthen temple of you, and allow, as Jill said, to let the message meet you where you are. And I love the word sovereign being. We are each sovereign beings. And yeah, so let that be authentic. Let this reading be authentic for who you are as a sovereign being. All right. The first card is the Radiance card, and you can see that down below. The first thing that popped out was this card was the outcome card from December 2022's reading, and it is the theme, the present energy of January 2023. It's powerful to me because this is saying, this is confirmation that, you know, how we wrapped up last year is how we're beginning this year. How you closed December is how we're opening January. And while we don't always read what the artist wrote in her message, I do want to share this because it flows into, I think, the rest of the reading, especially the helpful energy card. Because she says, avoid the temptation to relive past journeys or contemplate adventures in your future. Be still, basking in the glow of the present moment. To me, that was really, those are powerful words. It was medicine that I needed in this now moment for myself as I was contemplating this reading, to know that it's all perspective, right? What is my perspective? And if I'm always going back to the past, or if I'm living out there in the future, I miss this very now moment. And honestly, that's all we have. We hear the cliche, all we have is this now moment. That's why they call it the present. And it's true. In this now moment is what we have. And our perspective, our sovereignty is what is going to help us see the next now moment, right? And it's also going to help heal the past now moments. So all we really have is this now. And how can you radiate? How can you be of radiance? And I love that even though there's that I in the radiance, we're encouraged to dance. How will you choose to dance your radiance into this new year? And and I've said this many times over the last couple of weeks, while flipping the calendar doesn't necessarily change us, there's a feel about flipping the calendar, starting a new calendar. There's a feel, and you know that you feel it. There's something fresh, something new, something that only you and your sovereignty, your perspective, is going to alter you as you move into the next now moment, as you move into this new year, so to say. Jill and I both pull a card for number 2, which is the hopes and fears. And Jill always can explain so much better the difference between hopes and fears. And she may do that when she shares. Waiting, which is a card that has come up, is one of the hopes and fears. And then Emergence is in that second position as well. And I will say that the grace of presence, which we'll talk about in the third card, fell out while I was pulling Emergence. So there's more power in that presence, the grace of presence, because it fell out here as well. And then I shuffled the deck back up, and it came out as it's Jill's card. That I put mine back in. Jill pulled number 3, that grace of presence. Waiting was there. Waiting is sometimes the hardest thing to do, isn't it? It's wait. And this season, which we're still deep into the thresholds of winter, even though we've crossed over the threshold and we're starting to have greater radiance, greater light from our own personal star, the sun, waiting is still there. That resting period is still there. And this card for me is just saying, it's hard to wait, which the difficulty is the fear, but the hope is in the waiting. How can you continue to rest, renew, rejuvenate yourself? Let those little seeds that are wanting to be planted in this new year start to kind of dance around within you, like they're dancing within the earth herself. And then the hope comes in, right? That there's an emergence, that heat, that light, that sunshine starts to grow and grow. And as we are in the now moments, as we are in the present, it just happens. The bursting forth, the coming up, the transformation, the metamorphosis takes place every spring. What is your spring? What is being seeded right now that we just wait? Can't push it. If you try and overly push it, force it, it loses a lot of its power. So the waiting and the emergence, both the hope and the fierce position. The third card, as I mentioned, was a helpful energy card, the grace of presence. And I think that we've already spoken about that. So beautiful. I noticed as soon as Jill and I saw each other, I noticed the butterfly at her throat chakra, and I noticed the butterflies here, right? The grace of presence. This is one of such an incredibly beautiful card. Every time it comes up, it gives me a chance to go, oh, yes. That reminder to be very much in the now moment. It speaks a lot of that transformation, that metamorphosis, that emergence, right? But being still, holding on, allowing it to take place and listening. And that is really important when I see the little hummingbirds right there in her ear, to listen. I've had this cold for like 3 months, and my left ear has been like, it's not hearing. All I hear on my left side is white noise. 24/7 is white noise. And there's a part of me that's like, what am I not hearing? And as I mentioned before, Jill and I chat, and it's like my fuel each month when she and I get to sit and chat really deeply. And one of the things she mentioned is, what are we not hearing? What am I missing? Because she knows my heart. And this white noise kept being louder as I was listening to what Jill was saying. And that, to me, in the grace of presence, is listening to my higher self. Jill is brilliant at that. She's always listening to her spirit team, her higher self. And that white noise is saying that to me right now. What is yours? You know, what is being said by your spirit team in that helpful energy that says, listen to what I'm saying? Pretty powerful. The obstacle card, like, of course, right? You are enough. I know that comes up for me all the time. Like, I am my own obstacle because I deny my power often. I think I'm not enough. I begin to compare myself, right? In the work that I do with the individuals that I work with, I have, I sat over the weekend and assigned themes. And the theme that came to me from my higher self, from my spirit team for January, was slow down to self-honor. And so I invite you, if you're here, slow down to self-honor, whatever that means to you. And I prefer the word self-honor over self-care. If you're curious about that, you can reach out to Jill and I, and I'll hold that conversation. But to slow down to self-honor brings us to the point that when you are in the grace of presence, you cannot help but know that you are enough in this now moment. And in that, you radiate. There's a radiance. There has to be, because you are a divine being of source energy, of God, Goddess. There's none like you. Only you can bring what you have here as that sovereign being. And that in that pure, divine, unconditional love light, you are more than enough. And you will never be too much. And then the outcome. Beautiful card, integration. There's a specialness about this card for all of us that created in both decks. There's something very special about this card. But that's the outcome, whether it be for the month of January or the whole year of 2023. By stepping into your sacred foundation, by shoring up your sacred foundation and standing strong, standing very much like this individual in this card is standing on that tree stump, very strong. By standing in your power, knowing you are enough, owning each and every radiant now moment, being in that grace, you integrate the whole of who you are and what you bring to the table this new year for yourself, for your families, for your community. You integrate by having a sacred foundation. It's a beautiful reading, Jill. I'm super excited to hear what you have to offer. What's coming through for you, sister?
Well, thank you. That was amazing. I want to highlight a couple things that you said, just because it really kind of felt like there was a huge charge to it. You mentioned that, the energy or the imagery of dancing a couple different times. So I want to invite people to consider, if they love to dance, whether it be intuitive dance, conscious dance, salsa, any type of dancing and movement that you are called to do, we really want you to consider bumping that up on your priority list for the month of January, or whenever you see or hear this reading, because there's so much movement in your energy field when you're dancing and you're moving, breaking up old patterns and whatever, kind of just getting the momentum going. So yeah, we see stillness in here for sure, which is I'm going to talk about a little bit, but I really want to highlight, because you mentioned dancing a couple different times. So the energy of dancing and then the actual physical movement of dancing could be very beneficial for you this month. So please consider that. So yeah, thanks, Julia. I love it. You're always so insightful. So all right, as Julia mentioned, Radiance was the outcome card last month. So how perfect that it is the base card for this month. So the theme energy for this reading is this radiance. So how did how did Radiance unfold for you in December, if you followed the December reading last month? And if you didn't, that's totally fine. But like, what does Radiance mean to you? Do you have an idea? Do you know what Radiance feels like for you? Because you're really being called to take the energy of Radiance and allow it to be part of your sacred foundation at this time. So when you move to the hopes and fears, or how you really feel about the base theme of the month, I love that these two cards came up. And I noticed that there is a phoenix. I don't know. Is my cursor moving, Julia? Yes. This is a phoenix here. So we have a lot of fire energy. We have a lot of movement energy in this card of emergence. This is also kind of, a fire card. And then we've got this card over here, which it's the grace of presence. And there's this stillness, but we have solar plexus, solar plexus, solar plexus here. If we're looking at it from, is it solar plexus in the new deck, or is this sacral? Now I'm confused. I don't know, but the messages that I was hearing was about this also being solar plexus energy. So I want you to keep that in mind, whatever that means for you. If sacral, you get more sacral energy from this card, follow your own inner wisdom, but I'm getting solar plexus. So anyway, going back to the emergence card and this energy and this unfolding and this movement. And then right here, we've got almost the opposite with waiting, patience, stillness, groundedness is really important. So when we take these two together, yes, we want to have action. And yes, we also want to have stillness. Now, hopes and fears are how you really feel. sometimes this grounded energy can feel like stuck energy, especially when you feel like you want to move forward. So there's this push kind of pull energy that I want you to tune into, and I want you to reflect on. Where are you being called to move and you're not? Or where are you feeling called to ground and you're not? Only you can answer that. It's going to be different for everybody listening to this. So I really want you to pay attention to which one feels like it's a benefit to you and which one feels like it's kind of a heavy energy to you. I also want to bring in the thought that since we're looking at throat chakra energy here and speaking and communication, if you tend to blurt things out or be really abrupt and abrasive in your communication, you may be being invited to take that pause and that breath before you communicate it. That's not going to be true for everybody listening to this, but it is for some people that that's just kind of a little aside that I'd like you to, contemplate and see what message it has for you. But their Phoenix Rising was in the same position in last month's reading as well. So there's still that Phoenix energy. There's that rising energy. Okay. So then we move to the helpful energy position, which is the grace of presence, which I'm seeing that there is the butterfly energy. So if butterfly medicine has been calling you, maybe deepen into that, because butterfly may have a very specific message for you that you're being called and asked to explore. And then we've got earth here, we've got grounded energy again, we've got that stillness, we've got that meditation. So meditation is a beautiful word for some and a dirty word for others. I personally feel that in whatever way you could work with meditation, whether it's moving meditation, an actual sitting practice meditation, if you've been avoiding that, look into why, or look into maybe emerging through that resistance to a sitting stillness practice. Yes, I did just say a moving meditation would, if that's your jam, then go for it. But I do get the sense that a sitting stillness practice may be something that you're being asked to do. So again, we see that centering and that grounding energy as helpful energy. And really tuning in. Julia, you talk a lot. Julia is one of my mentors. I go to her a lot when my world feels scattered, and she always kind of helps me center back into my inner wisdom and guidance. So one of your many gifts, Julia. Thank you. So, all right. So we've got that, right? Now we move to the obstacle energy, and Julia really kind of covered this. So that feeling of not being worthy or not feeling enough or whatever, that is a collective issue, that it's just part of the human journey archetypal experience, and embracing and embodying the fact that we are enough is it's just like a core energy. It's a core part of having a sacred foundation and reminding yourself that you are enough. I love the phrase, I am worthy by divine design. It's something that I turn to often when I'm thinking I'm not good enough or whatever. So I am worthy by divine design. You are worthy by divine design. So really, acknowledging that that might be coming up for you, and loving that part of yourself that feels like you aren't enough, and then reminding yourself that you truly are enough by divine design. So if you've had this energy of moving forward and whatever, and you're not for whatever reason, get still, reflect on the obstacle of where do you not feel enough in your life? Why do you feel like that? Is there forgiveness work that needs to be done? Whenever we think about the heart, we think about love, unconditional love. Forgiveness is tied in there as well. So, is there any forgiveness energy of forgiving yourself or others? Might be beneficial to look at if that's been an obstacle for you. Now we move to the final card, which is, we've got integration, we've got heart chakra. Julia mentioned that this card for all of us that participated in these decks is very important, and not only is it just an amazing card energetically, visually, the artist that created that card had passed away at the age of 40. Julia had the opportunity to interview this beautiful soul before her passing. And Julia, if you want to give me the link to that, I could actually put it below in the description so people can listen to that if they feel called. But the integration card is the only card that appears in both decks. So the card that's on the screen right now came from the first deck, Awakening to Your Divine Self. And then I really felt strongly that that card needed to be incorporated into the second deck as well. So I reached out to the family members and they gave permission for Kimberly's card to be included in the second deck as well. Now, Julia, do you have your books handy?
I do.
Would you be willing to read the full message for integration? Because Kimberly's message to me is so powerful, and I would really like people to hear it.
Can we read it now? You ready
Yes,
for me?
please.
Joy and sorrow, love and loss, gratitude and grief are some of the hues that color the rich tapestry of our lives. We may be attached to the good times, but we worry because we know deep down that nothing is certain and everything changes. We cannot deny the painful things that happen to us, but they don't have to be the only stories we tell. In our darkest moments, we can find solace in the blessings of beloved memories, peace in a single mindful breath, and hope in the promise of future healing. Healing is about integration. Our ability to hold space for sorrow, joy, love, and grief to meld into the multifaceted whole. When we accept and integrate the entirety of our lives, the joy and the pain, then we can truly appreciate and discover the complex beauty of our soul tapestry.
Isn't that just amazing? So I want you to, if you need to replay this over again and listen to that message again, pause the video and then just sit with it, journal what it means to you, what came up for you when you heard that, what comes up for you when you see the image or the word integration. I think that that's going to be important. So just to recap what I see in this reading, we've got Radiance and we've got Emergence. We've got this energy, we've got this flow, we've got this pulling, this calling forward. And we'll still want to get still and be present. And then overcoming the obstacle of not feeling enough. We see a lot of markings on the inner heart. Those could be energetic pathways to kind of help you heal. They can be cords, strings, or ties that are ready to be let go of. Whatever imagery makes sense to you or whatever comes up for you, there is no right or wrong. So if they're cord, strings, and ties, they're ready to be released. And then there's that opening up. So with all of this amazing energy in this reading, we've got integration. So we see swirls of energy. We've got the shock colors represented in this card. So there is this big release and then an integration for higher frequencies to come in to guide you this month as you develop and deepen your sacred foundation. Lots of energies in this cards, even if you don't really understand what messages were specifically for you, there is a transmission of energy from the sacred medicine that is embedded within these cards that each artist brought through. So sit, be present, look at the imagery, let it work its magic in your energy field, and just take a breath. Okay. All right, Julia, anything you want to add to that?
I love everything that was shared, everything that came through. When you started with Radiance and the dance, I just want to say, you sitting dancing. I sit and dance all the time. It's just my have to be jam. But just noticing that I dance is that word is within Radiance. So yeah, and I love that Kimberly's card came up. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Jill, thank you so much. We are ever available. If you have an aha, if there's a sharing, we also offer where we can be of a support and guidance for you if that feels good as you move into this new year and you would like double support. We have a program available for that too. I am deeply grateful for you, Jill, and our continued Sacred Foundation readings. Thank you.
Me too, Julia. And I just want to end with one more statement because sometimes people say, they want to work with this energy for the month, and seasoned people that have, been working in the spiritual realm for a while, many of us have an altar. So if you're newer and you haven't already created altar sacred space, we invite you to do so. And then what a lot of people do is they'll print the image out of the cards and they place that image on their altar. So and then they sit with it and they marinate in the message and the frequencies of the cards. So if you haven't incorporated that into your practice and you wanted to know how to work with these card readings in a deeper way, you can start with that. And again, Julia mentioned that we're always available to answer any questions. So, all right, everybody, Happy New Year again. Love you, Jules. I'll see you next month.
Love you too. Take care.
Love me while I stop this
I do the
recording,
same thing
everybody.
all the time.